Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Last time we got Jai Hadari, our smuggler, and we have actually a lot of work to do around here. I think that's just an Anver note, but we're just going to get it out of the way. First off, we have to look at the... Oh, where is it? It's the thing for St. Jerusalem. It's around here, I think. Somewhere. Shut up, Jerusalem Preacher. I want to look at this thing. Because for last episode we talked to this guy who was a scholar of architectural history, and there's a quest that leads us here. Now, it's here under rumors. Cache in the former lantern. It's now in the atrium which serves as the chapel of St. Drusus. So if it's not right there, then I believe it's somewhere... Oh, it's more Anver guys. What an interesting situation to be in. So I'll just put you behind cover. You have very little room to maneuver. Put you over here. You can stay right up in front. We're gonna have you over here. Me in between. Yeah, Cassia just doesn't get a lot of wiggle room here. That's fine. So we will give... Honestly, Cassia a second turn is probably the best. So then we can just go... These guys are awfully durable. We're not better off just nuking down... No, yeah, we're gonna nuke down these guys. Just because that saves us a little bit of trouble. And then, no, I didn't want to use Furious Recital, but sure. Game, can you please stop freaking out? Okay, so we get one of these guys or we get the other. That's fine. Work on Limper Mikey here and just put down as many as we can. One Revelant Slaughter stack. And See if we can hit Limper Mikey, melt his armor a little. No. We are going to take an attack of opportunity, but it's whatever. Power up. Warp Curse unleashed. And held in my gaze. Try to get rid of that guy on Jay. Or Jai. Because otherwise... I mean, she can still fight just fine. Get set up, then just fire our mastery and just start blasting through these guys. I mean, it's a pretty low chance to hit Jai, honestly. Because it has to go through like 3 targets. Yeah, these guys are so focused on Abelard that they're doomed. I'll even do defensive stance just to make it even tougher on them. Actually, we'll give her a stat up first. And then another turn. And we'll just go behind cover because we can, and this way shots don't blow through anybody. Then we'll do a devastating attack, which hopefully will put Limper Mikey on the ground. Yep, and now we just mag dump. Nice little free fight there. Another Anver note that was laying around. Let's see, that should be... I think the thing we're looking for... Oh. That's it? We just saw the people kind of like yelling, and then one guy gets clubbed. Okay. Yeah, I think this is it. There we go. Yep, small quay, large windows. So now we have to go to the dock. But we'll do that once we talk to Tokara. Don't worry, we'll figure out the format to get in eventually, guys. Greetings, your lordship. I don't mean to hurry you, but I do hope that our deal is still in place. The station continues to experience increasingly severe shortages of provisions. Vladime notices Jai standing behind you, and you see his jaw tighten with tension. And what are you doing here? Vladime, you must have thought you were the only one on Footfall who knew how to make friends. Jai shrugs and smirks condescendingly. Told you I'd find a better deal. Ignoring Jai, Vladime pointedly addresses you. I'm sure your lordship had reason for getting mixed up with a small fry like her. Perhaps you were amused by her false promises of quick profit, or more intimate aspects of such relationships. In any case, that's none of my business. Just remember that here on Footfall, the truly good deals worthy of your attention only come from me. You're right, this is none of your business. Without a doubt, please forgive my digression. What brings you here? His voice is dry and reserved, but he never stops glaring at Jai. What's happening in the shadow quarters? Why is there a quarantine? Oh, that, he grimaces. Who knows? It could have been an actual epidemic, or perhaps the two families that started it all just came down with food poisoning at the same time. We're on a space station. The best solution here is to isolate the area and wait for the problem to resolve itself. I've been told that when the previous liege was faced with a similar situation, he ordered the entire asteroid to be detached and dropped into the star. Yes, he did, and what a senseless decision it was. There are more reliable ways of disinfecting an area without having to lose a whole asteroid. The maneuver of his destabilized the station's integrity, and the consequences of that are still being felt up until I became liege. When I entered the office, I had to negotiate with the tech priest to make necessary repairs, and it cost me a preposterous amount of time and resources. I wish to help people in the quarantine zone. I will have medicine delivered to them from my ship. I can't bar you from doing so, but I can't help but note it's not the wisest course of action, with all due respect, your lordship. I did what you could not. I found and neutralized the Anver's agitator-in-chief. That is a truly fascinating accomplishment, your lordship. Footfall can now rest easy, at least until the next mad hoodlum makes himself known. Man introduced himself as a servant of House Corda, asked to have a word with me, and then imagine the odds, someone blew his brains out. Vladime doesn't look surprised. The Anvers again, I presume? Those anarchical degenerates don't care whom they shoot, be it my servants, yours, or those in the employ of House Corda. I suspect that this agent wished to negotiate a deal that would have you refrain from hindering Incendia Corda's efforts to strangle us with the threat of hunger and demand our obedience. If so, I don't believe I'll be mourning the man's passing very long. I'm beginning to resent how frequently the people I converse with on this station wind up dead. That is indeed lamentable, but these are the times we live in, and this is Footfall. Its denizens don't always look for a reason to spill blood. And let's do business and buy some stuff. We cannot get much. But we'll just pick up everything we can and go from there. Alright, so we covered all our bases here, got all the quests finished. And now we can move on to getting to the dock. Does it let us pick our location? No, it doesn't. We are still here. Well, I'll see you guys when we get to the dock. Alright, now that we're here at the dock, we have to... I think it's... Let's check this. I don't think it's this one, because this is this little quest. I think what it is it's over by where all the people are kind of like chilling here. They're all Bing chilling. It's one of these, yep. Answer is close, seeker. Remember the word realizing. Or, yeah. Remember the place, a tunnel in the shadow of a bridge in the shadow of the great statue. Okay, so we gotta go to the shadow quarters. Okay, to the shadow quarters! Okay, so now it's the shadow of the statue, so I don't remember where this is. So let's just bumble about for a minute and we'll find something. Oh, I think it's this corner, maybe. No. This is just looking out and being like, hey, look at how cool this place is. Which admittedly it is. There's a giant statue of the Emperor out there. I think. Or it's the guy. The statues all kind of look the same. Ah, I always hated this part. Because this area is just cluttered. Oh, yeah. Hint mentions a tunnel in the shadow of a bridge in the shadow of a great statue. Must be the shadow quarters. This part of the shadow quarters is currently under quarantine due to a possible outbreak of disease. So we cannot continue this quest. So, guess we just go back to the ship. Before we get on the ship, I'm actually gonna clear out the AdMech of all their free stuff. I don't even need the machine right sets, I never use them. But at least we got all that now, and can probably work on getting some other stuff out of these guys. Just kind of lightning rounding through here. Not a whole lot worth of stuff here. I mean, that'll give us what we need to get another rank. But we don't have enough money for any of this stuff. Which is fine. We'll deal with that later. Alright, so we got some quests to talk to people here on the ship. Yep, talk to Sister Argenta, talk to Heinrix. Talk to Jai. Okay, let's just start knocking out person after person. Argenta.
Greetings.
Waiting for you to tell me about your past and explain the strange words of the cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you. Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Of course, let us go there right away. Argenta drops to her knees, her hands making the sign of the Aquila. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature on the warrant, a seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper, unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on the paper. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me with flames of fury and righteousness. But if thou seest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest a plea of mine, bless me with wrath of fury and righteousness. Argenta's voice is sonorous, as if made for singing hymns and prayers, but right now she cannot seem to catch her breath, so overwhelmed with emotion is she. For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to the servants of thine, and ruin to foes of thine. A fight of terror and righteousness. Upon finishing, she closes her eyes and remains silent for a long time, with her head raised high. Slowly, like the first licks of a flame in a campfire, a smile blossoms on her lips. When Argenta finally opens her eyes, they are alight with uncanny resolution. Rogue Trader, we need to talk, or rather, I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth about how I ended up on Theodora von Valancius' ship, and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall. I'm listening. Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story and you'll see why. Argenta pauses. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed. The reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus' mission, and no one was even trying to defile it. For all its lawlessness, Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of divine will, in a way. Argenta falters, searching for the words. It was from her that I learned about a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest, a feral world away from convenient warp routes, but for me, learning about its existence was a revelation. I've never even heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the von Valancius dynasty? Yes, now the planet is yours by right, but it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I will explain in due time. May I continue? Please continue. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from an ancient legend, the legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Her voice grows reverent. Argenta, the living saint. She is my patroness. The order named me after her. She died millennia ago when heretics caused her ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the One Star. For the fallen ship, which now served as the resting place for the saint's remains, would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. Imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts, and suddenly, I, myself named after the saint, came across this information. I realized at that moment it was important that I must journey to the planet and find the ship, and so I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered Salus Prime. Why did you keep your supposition from Reverend Hieronymus? Surely he would have helped you with the search for the ship and the saint's remains. I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was important revealed to me personally. Can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth, that I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake this trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I had laid my hand on her remains in the relic, it would have been a sign that I truly had been blessed with the saint's favor. I mean, that's understandable. Searching for your destiny, for your place in the world is a special matter, a personal one. You either succeed at it or you don't. I also do agree with your actions are driven by hubris. It's as if you want to keep your discovery but all to yourself. I mean, all these really work because they all fit. We'll go with it's understandable. Argenta looks at you somewhat surprised. I thought that I had been called, that finding the ship was my destiny, my place in the world. Perhaps there's something to that. I imagine Theodora was thrilled with the prospect. Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her. You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it? Apologies, I got so carried away I forgot to explain. The One Star is the relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The One Star is one of the lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography at times calls it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chainsword. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness and it was lost with Argenta's death. What happened next? Defeat, Argenta says bitterly. The ship's augers failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. I was expecting this, though. According to legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know Saint Argenta's hagiography by heart. I know all the legends about her. I follow their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old tales, and I was certain that I had found the way to the ship. And that's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretic shrine on Footfall, something about ways, doors, please, addressed to some lord at the edge of daybreak, Argenta shaking with disgust. They were the same words as those spoken by the cultist who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished, all those honest, brave people I had led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle that I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect these events at first, the cultists on Footfall, the cultists on Salus Prime, the cultists attacking the ship and Conrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they've long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valancia's servants? What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search? No need to blame yourself. If the heretics really had wormed their way into the Von Valancia's ranks by then, they would have found the planet even without you going there. I doubt it. No one except me was particularly interested in the planet. Conrad, on the other hand, he sympathized with me when I first came aboard. He helped arrange an audience with Theodora and supported me in my effort to visit the planet. I never told him plainly why I wanted to go there, but I imagine that Vulture must have figured out that it was something important, something related to the holy faith of the Imperium, and what could delight a heretic more than defiling a relic. So how did you manage to escape the cultists? Argenta hangs her head. Theodora's people received the distress call, came to my rescue, and brought me aboard the ship. I barely remember what happened. When they arrived, I was already severely wounded, fighting back with whatever remained of my strength. I think I shouted that we had to go after them, but they didn't listen. They took me to the shuttle and pulled out. After that, it's all blackness. When I came to, we were already in the middle of a warp jump. Theodora had urgent matters to take care of, and she decided she could clear out the planet at a later time. Sadly, the only one who might have all the answers, Conrad, escaped. Oh yes, and I sincerely hope that we will meet him again. The Serpent needs to answer a few questions before he is purged into cleansing flame. That's why you didn't trust me before, correct? Yes, Rogue Trader, Argenta looks you in the eye. I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I had already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of cultists, and was afraid of another betrayal. I couldn't be forthright with you, and I studied you looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. And what did you find? A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate the cultists on Footfall. Argenta smiles as if reminiscing about a pleasant evening spent in the company of friends, rather than a bloody battle. Although my opinion of you started to change even before then, back when you agreed to talk to the orphans at my request, a leader who's willing to honor those who laid down their lives for them and take care of their children is a leader who inspires trust, and the way you acted in that moment. Do you remember there was a young man whose grief and confusion had driven him to insolence? You found the words that could comfort him. You didn't punish him, you didn't scare him with a show of austerity, you even admitted that you're not all-powerful. It surprised me. I even saw it as weakness at first, but after giving it some thought, I saw the wisdom in it. The way you openly address the thoughtless boy does you credit, Rogue Trader. So just to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found St. Argenta's ship, is that right? Yes, I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, and I insisted on going back to Salus Prime to defend the relic from the heretics, but I was told the warp had destroyed the old route to the planet, and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort, as if there could be anything more important than protecting the faith and hunting down the servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost, and all knowledge of it died in the attack on the ship along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead, the data that we collected in the cultist shrine on Footfall. I don't care what that reprobate we executed said, there must be a way to track them down. Tell me, Rogue Trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return it to the people of the Imperium? There's nothing I wouldn't do to reclaim a sacred object for the people of the Imperium. Argenta walks up and places her hand on your shoulder. So be it, Rogue Trader. As I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will marked by his own hand, I vow that I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished, and may the light be with us both on this path. Alright, next person to talk to. Heinrix. Heinrix looks at you intently, his head tilted. You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
Heinrix nods slightly. Thank you for finding an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship. I welcome the chance to assist the Inquisition with its inquiries, Von Calix. Lord Captain, your enthusiasm is commendable. The interrogator smiles, but his eyes remain cold. Business then. The cult of the Final Dawn. The bad men preach their heretical doctrine among the citizens of the Coronis Expanse and instigate crimes against the throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the Rogue Trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain. Why would Ordo Xenos agents investigate a chaos cult? You are well versed in how the Inquisition is organized. Yes, initially our arrival in the Coronis Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos. But there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I will be able to reveal the full truth someday, but right now I ask you to display humility and patience. A chaos cult in my protectorate. Heinrix, are you laying an accusation against my dynasty? Chaos treads softly. The main danger of secret cults and sects is that they are like seeds. They can remain in the ground for decades, safe from all scrutiny, until an opportunity to sprout, grow, and bear monstrous fruit presents itself. The emergence of a cult on one of the Rogue Trader's planets does not mean the dynasty head itself is a chaos worshipper. Having said that, it should be noted that Theodora von Valancius was famous for her loose interpretations of the freedoms granted by the warrant. Heinrix regards you with a probing look. A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interest to do whatever is necessary to redeem yourself, and then, perhaps, you will get a chance to salvage your dynasty's reputation. The Lord Inquisitor mentioned in his letter that he is willing to show lenience towards my actions that would otherwise be interpreted as radical. Heinrix nods. That is correct. I should show greater tolerance for the mistakes of a newly appointed Rogue Trader. To be frank, I am surprised. The Lord Inquisitor is not the type to indulge the weakness of soul and mind, even in someone who only recently accepted the burden of a lofty title. You have spies on the von Valancius worlds? The person I mention is not a spy, but a secretary in the Administratum Department on Dargonis. The planet's governor and Theodora were fully aware of his status. His duty is to fulfill the sacred oath to the Golden Throne and eliminate threats to the Imperium, which the Corona Spans has in abundance. His name is Achilles Scalander. While as soon as we contact Dargonis, I will introduce you as the new head of the dynasty. I am sure you will appreciate the presence of such an advisor among your subjects, and I suggest you heed his words at least occasionally. I want to know more about this cult of the Final Dawn. Chaos worshippers, most often agents of the throne, run into lone renegades stirring up the rabble, insane prophets and hysteric visionaries preaching the end of days. A passing comet, a mutant rebellion, an onslaught of monsters. Each time they come up with a new reason why people should prostrate themselves and quiver in fear. Much effort and the blood of those loyal to the Golden Throne were spent before we established the connection between those heretics. However, the cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune-tellers. They cleverly spread their agents all over the Coronis expanse, disseminating heresy amongst honest people on the Imperial worlds. There is a certain strategy to their actions that changes whenever we get too close, and finally, they have enough military power to have had the 2 ships that we had sent after them later discovered as wreckage. The growing difficulty in making warp jumps is detrimental to us, but is unlikely to inconvenience those who engage in vile sorcery day in, day out. Heinrix sighs. After the events on Rykad Minoris, I suspected the cult might have built its nest inside Winterscale's domain, but the latest reports indicate it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets. I have already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else? The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. I will then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnissiah themselves. I will be frank, the answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition could lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Coronis expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again. Let us assume Kiava Gamma has fallen to heresy. What then? Will you again propose we destroy an entire planet? Heinrix stares you down. On Rykad Minoris, you made a decision that sent billions of souls into the grasp of the archenemy. An unreasonable and unforgettably high price for a small handful of people saved by your mercy. Do I consider it a worthy exchange? I most certainly do not. Will I make every effort to make sure such an exchange does not happen again? Of course I will. Sentimentality is a luxury I cannot afford. I do not believe you lack compassion. You did not stop me after all, although you certainly could have tried to. The interrogator's eyes narrow. I haven't said I would not like to be able to afford such luxury. In fact, deep down I understand why you acted that way. I have yet to eliminate the understanding and acceptance within myself, but I will. Why did your suspicion fall on Kiava Gamma? Disjointed pieces of data that finally merged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago, a vessel from that world arrived on Footfall. The reports from the crew were confused and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion. I met a Chaos Space Marine on Rykad Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers? I have no doubt it will happen again sooner or later. Chaos Marines siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Most likely, they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of Chaos Space Marines in the Coronis expanse, and not an entire company. I would not let anyone throw their weight around on my worlds, be they servants of Chaos, Xenos, or heretics. A commendable aspiration for a person who holds the fate of billions of people in dozens of Imperial worlds in his hands, which is why you need to be ever more vigilant when looking for seeds of corruption on your planets, lest they sprout someday and spell doom for whatever is tangled up in their roots. That's enough discussion about the archenemy's servants. Tell me about the Drukhari who stole Rykad's son. Heinrix winces. The Drukhari, one of the branches of the Eldari, an ancient and vicious Xenos race. Those creatures are a living terror to ordinary people who fall prey to their raids, for the simple reason that the victims are not killed outright, but instead become their playthings. Just as you and I need air to survive, the Drukhari require psychic energy born from torment and pain, which they extract from their captives with uncanny expertise. Their ships, which are difficult to mistake for any other, arrive suddenly and undetected. Their stealth technologies greatly surpass the capabilities of standard Imperium auger arrays. The objective of their raids is never to capture a world or a ship. No, they're only interested in fresh victims. After filling their holds with living captives, they disappear into the webway, a different dimension which conceals their greatest stronghold, Camorra, the dark city of the Drukhari, from which none can hope to escape. Heinrich studies your expression. I do not know why the Drukhari stole Rykad's son and brought about the fulfillment of the cult's prophecies. Perhaps the Xenos themselves have played into the archenemy's designs, or perhaps Aurora's divinations, in fact, describe the Drukhari's actions. There is only one thing I can say with absolute certainty: there is no alliance between the cult of the Final Dawn and the Xenos. It's simply impossible. I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Let me put it this way. You may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I am here to help you in the fight against foes you may not even be aware of. You have my word that I will provide every assistance in uprooting the heresy that has sprouted on the Von Valancius worlds while their master was away, and that I will try to be more patient with the less grievous flaws the bearers of the warrant are sometimes known to have. Heinrix inclines his head. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain. Alright, let's get our third thing and talk to Jai. Let's get everybody out of the way. Actually, let's also talk to Danrock. Have you ever heard of the name Fiery Reckoning? From what I can tell, it's a void ship of some sort. Generous thinks for a moment, pursing his lips in concentration. I'm afraid it's not immediately familiar to me, your lordship. Please allow me a moment. He starts rapidly tapping on the screen of his data slate. I say, House Von Valancius did indeed sign a contract with the owners of a vessel with the name, or the designation Fiery Reckoning. There are transactions, records of the ship picking up cargo from Kiava Gamma. Well, this is odd. The data log ends there. Apparently the ship had some interactions with one of the workshops on your industrial world. I beg your pardon, your lordship, but that is the extent of the assistance I can provide you in regard to this particular matter. Alright, let's buy some stuff. Drusians. Hieronymus, give me all the stuff. Enforcer helmet, sure. More combat stims I don't use. Okay, so they're done. Imperial Navy. Reputation. Can we sell you anything? Just those trophies. It's not enough. Whatever. But in the meantime, we will buy all these parts. Because I can either just instantly turn them into more stuff to hand back over, and some of these are actually just straight upgrades. Fellowship of the Void, we already cleared out. Casabalica. Or Casbalica, I always want to toss another A in there. They're cleared out. Explorators, Dunzo. Alright. We'll actually do ship management lightning quick. Yep, everybody is best in slot. Okay, engine. The Jovian pattern, we get better speed, but we have low acceleration and braking. Don't want to really do that. Auspex, 90% hit chance. Shields. We lose shields if we use the prototype glimmer pattern. Doubled against blast attacks, but I don't like that. Armor is all we got. Prow. 2 Voss patterns, Mazoa pattern, lance weapon, which we already have. I could run double plasma tubes or torpedo tubes. I don't know if that's really valuable. Starboard, and then port and dorsal. Yeah, everything we got's pretty set in stone here, but that's fine. We're realistically just getting the Auspex is a good upgrade. Alright, Jai, let's talk.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherin. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherin. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted?
Was there some business you wish to discuss?
Oh, Sherin, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
I wish I could just call people into the room and talk to them that way instead of doing this back and forth. The flickering light of dozens of candles plays across Jai's face, making her small smile appear even more mysterious. Shireen, the Exalted One himself, has brought us together the day you crossed Vladame's threshold. He led us to the cargo, and he gave his blessing for its return. Do you know what people on my world say when such a thing happens? What is gained is to be shared with your neighbor. She points at the containers in front of her. One contains a polished Eldari rifle, a rare model, and the other holds an ornate sword. I am sharing what I've gained with you. Please accept these humble gifts in honor of our wildly successful, though suddenly struck friendship. A truly wonderful gift. I accept it with gratitude. I knew you would appreciate the Xenos mastery of their craft. Jai beams at you, her curling a lock of black hair with an augmented finger. After a brief pause, she awkwardly continues. So, the matter I wanted to discuss with you is related to my business. You know that I sell Xeno artifacts to interested Imperial subjects and Imperial trinkets to Xenos. Business is going well, my network runs even without my participation, and when it comes to expansion, well, that is where I hit a wall. Rivals, envious of my success. Jai throws up her hands. Falco especially. I am certain the theft of the cargo was his doing, but I can never predict what the Ashmag will do next, and while the Imperium's authority may be fragmented in the Expanse, it could crack down on people of my profession at any moment. Go on. If the rogue trader put in a good word for me with the servants of the Adeptus Administratum, I could become an official trade representative of the Imperium. Just imagine it. A small scrap of paper will offer me and my agents protection against Ashmag schemes far better than any refractor field. And even the Inquisition will have to think twice before they mess with me, because I'll be a representative of the law in my own right. And the best part of all is that this will cost you precisely nothing, Shireen. All you have to do is stop by the Administratum Palace and obtain a certificate from the Master of Seals. My informants tell me that the palace is located on Dargonis, your capital world. You see how everything has aligned so wonderfully, and of course I will repay you in kind. How do I benefit from your gaining official status? Besides being in receipt of my eternal gratitude, Shireen, Jai playfully raises a brow. Wouldn't it be beneficial to have someone in your retinue with the weight of authority behind them, rather than just another pawn? One slip of paper and I will be able to extend my network to systems far beyond Footfall. My agents will be your eyes and ears throughout the Expanse. Sounds simple enough. I will help you. Exalted One bless you, Shireen. I couldn't find a better business partner in all of the Expanse. Jai ponders for a moment and then graces you with a dazzling smile. Friendship is a gift from the Exalted One and we must cherish it. And you will have no complaints about our friendship, Shireen. I may not be a trade representative of the Imperium just yet, but I can still help you with whatever you need. You must have some faction in mind you would like to establish relations with. The severe Drusians, the hot-headed pirates of the Casbalica. You merely need to use the right words, like a key for a lock, and people will open their hearts to you. Or their wallets. I will arrange everything, you merely have to ask. I mean, everybody would be kind of nice, but I'm going to go AdMech just to kind of keep pushing them down the line. Not a problem, Shireen. I will have my people put in a good word for you in the right circles. I will humbly await until you steer your vessel toward Dargonis, the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. It sounds almost as majestic as the Warrant of Trade. Oh my god, finally done getting everybody's quests up and running. Everybody wants to go to Dargonis, which we're not going to anytime soon. We gotta kill time to head back to the Shadow Quarters, which we gotta do for that. Honestly, our first row is going to be Yanis. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.